This is a comparison between my Olds recording, which is made in Los Angeles, circa 1953. So this is a pre-Fullerton, with my Bach Stradivarius 37, made in roughly 1970. So it's an early Elkhart. These are two very different horns, but they're both very well-regarded horns, and you know, things that everyone wants to have. So let's start with the Olds recording. What makes this a special horn, notably, is that it's a balanced trumpet, which means that the valves are right in the middle. So if I hold it up next to my Bach, you can see that the Olds' valves are way closer to the bell flare than the Bach. And also the total length of the horn is a little bit less on the Olds. The Olds also has this ergonomic valve cluster, which is just so cool, where the middle valve is inset a little further, whereas the Bach is just in line. So that's pretty much the major difference in design. The Olds is a little bit lighter in weight than the Bach. The Bach is overall a heavy horn, I'd say, medium heavy, and the Olds is pretty standard, a medium lightweight horn. But that's not to say that the Olds is built worse. I have another Los Angeles Olds from the same year. I have an Olds Super made in 1953, and both of these Olds horns are just incredibly well built. Like, they feel so solid. All of the soldering points are just immaculately done. Just no fit and finish problems whatsoever with these horns, and they just feel so great. That's not to say the Bach is bad. The Bach also has great fit and finish. This horn's from 1970, and again, also has no squeaks or rattles. But I think that there is something special about the construction of the Olds trumpets. So yeah, they have very different designs, and they also play very differently. So the Bach, I would say, really does feel like a modern horn, despite the fact that it's made in 1970. And maybe it feels like a modern horn because the design is still the same today, so be it. But yeah, what I mean by that is it has very, very stiff slots, which is really good for security. It's really, it takes a lot more effort to slide between partials on the Bach. So the note targets just feel wider, which is, again, good for stability. And I think that's kind of a feature of a lot of modern horns. Whereas the Olds feels like a more vintage horn to me. It's a little bit more slippery between partials, and that's not just because the valves have worse compression or anything. You can hear that they still pop just fine. But it's just, that seems to just kind of be a vibe of a lot of the vintage trumpets that I've played. But again, it's not like this horn is inaccurate or hard to play. I think it's actually really easy to play. For me, the response on the Olds, just the amount of energy that it takes to make a note speak, is substantially lower on the recording than it is on the Strad. And that's my favorite thing about playing this horn, is just how quickly it responds and how snappy it is to play. It feels really nimble. High register, again, neither of these horns is bad. They're just totally different approaches. The Olds takes very little air to make the notes speak up there. It's really easy, and again, just to go whoop right up. Whereas the Bach, it's more rigid, and you're less likely to clam notes. It feels more secure up there, but again, it's also harder to play up there, so it's a trade-off, in my opinion. And these are two, it's interesting, because these horns are so different in how they play, but I really enjoy playing both of them, and I feel at home on both, which is a testament to just how they're good trumpets. So yeah, I hope that this video was useful, and I hope that you found it interesting. So thank you for watching.